in that series, there was a Red Cross worker.
Mhm.
And, that's another subject where I had no clue about. I don't know. Or were they nurses? In my head, I thought they were nurses, but they
Yes.
did so much more. Can you kind of give a little bit of information on that?
And actually, they were not nurses. That is the most. It's an error I see in a lot of World War II books where they have the Red Cross nurses, but all of the nurses who were with the Army, the Navy, the Army Air Forces, they were all in the military. They were Army Nurse Corps, they were Navy Nurse Corps. Some of them were recruited through the Red Cross. Some of them were Red Cross nurses before the war, but they had to join the Army Nurse Corps to be serving during the war, which is, it's different. Apparently World War I, there were Red Cross nurses, but not in World War II. But the Red Cross did so much. They were very active overseas. They had all these clubs for the servicemen. It was kind of like the USO. The USO was stateside. And though they did a lot of tours overseas, they brought Bob Hope and all the celebrities overseas and did these tours. But the Red Cross was running all the clubs. And they had clubs in all the major cities, and they had clubs on the bases, the naval bases, the Army bases, the air bases. They had club mobiles, which are, these vans. And there were two girls that ran it, and they had to be mechanics and cooks and jitterbug queens, because they would go out to the air bases where they were too remote. And that is my dog in the background. Time for his walk, so I apologize if you hear him making funny noises in the background. Sorry, baby.
No worries.
He's adorable. But anyway, but these club mobiles, and so these two girls would have to run this van, and they would take it out, and they would have tunes playing, and they would serve up donuts and hot coffee, and then they would get out and jitterbug with the guys. And there was a little room inside where guys could write letters, and there were some games, and it was. So the Red Cross did some amazing things during the war, and it isn't something you hear a lot about, but it was something that was a touch of home for the guys, and they really appreciated it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you included that into your novel, because that's something that I had no clue about.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and I'm excited to read your other series, but can you kind of give us a little overview of what your other series are about?
I have 4 series, and The Wings of Glory is about the 3 men who are B-17 pilots. And then the next one is Wings of the Nightingale with 3 women who are flight nurses based in the Mediterranean. And then I have Waves of Freedom, which was 3 American naval officers with the Battle of the Atlantic. They're based in Boston. And with that one, I have the women solving home front mysteries. So that was a fun angle. And then Sunrise at Normandy around D-Day. And then my next contract of 3 books, they're actually standalone novels. They aren't a series. And the first one just came out When Twilight Breaks. And it's a little different for me. I'm veering away from the military angle. And it's 2 Americans who are living in Nazi Germany in 1938 before the war. And it's covering all the events as the buildup for the war. And of course, they get themselves into a little trouble. She's a foreign correspondent, and he is a doctorate student in German. So they get themselves into a little trouble. So fun story.
Sure. And so why did you kind of veer away from the series?
A few reasons. Storytelling, there's some joy in being able to connect the stories, and there's some limits to it. There's also some marketing angles. We were just kind of testing. There's some marketing issues with series. And so we were kind of saying which will sell better, standalones versus series. But honestly, in reality, these 3 stories came to me very disconnected. So they were, 3 distinct stories. So there is a slight thread that follows between them all. They're all involving Americans who are in Nazi Europe. And because I'm a natural series writer, I did find out that the 3 men, or the 3 heroes, are friends, but there isn't any connection between. The hero in book 2 is in Nazi-occupied Paris in 1941. I apologize for my dog. He squeaks. I've never heard a dog who squeaks before. He squeaks. It's the cutest thing, but it's odd. So, he's a rescue. We've had him for a few months. But anyway, so he's in Nazi-occupied Paris. So you can't send mail to other places because the Nazis are there. So, having that connection would have been impossible too.
Nice. And so when do the other two books come out? Do you have a date set for that?
The second book is the one set in Paris in 1941. That one will be coming out in 2022, probably in February also. And then the third book will be set in Denmark in 1943, and that will be 2023. Yeah. And I'm working on a proposal for another 3 books, whether it's a series or we don't know.
Oh, that sounds great. I can't wait to read them. And I truly mean that.
Yeah, thank you.
I've really enjoyed the first 2 series that I've been able to read. So I thank you so much for talking with us and sharing your gift of writing, because I mean, it is a gift. I'm so glad that we have authors out there and all the hard work that you guys put in research. And I just thank you.
Well, thank you so much.